Oh, what was your problem? They don't have you. You refresh. I'll just keep talking. Maybe you should refresh your links then. I don't care. This is the joy of home broadcast. Does he exist? I see. I can always hear you, but it's the wrong microphone. Okay, so Hap, you can hear Hap, but he sounds terrible. Just the worst. It's probably pulling... It's a cup and a string at this point. Both your microphone and what you're giving to production. It's still nothing. Wow. So you guys... I don't think that you can hear. I'm not sure if you can hear at home. I don't know how crazy I sound, but this is just production in one ear and Hap in the other, trying to just get Hap to press the right button. And it's amazing. This is the man. This is the man who earlier on, the clicking from his computer was because the Tachanka chibi had been knocked into his own GPU fan.
Am I ever have heard now?
Okay, let's
go. I didn't change anything between the games, so I have no clue how it suddenly changed.
Listen,
I didn't restart my PC. I didn't plug anything else in. Hey, I'm here. You know, we're back at home, and instantly I'm getting all the tech issues there you can get. The Tachanka inside of your CPU fan, like wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's... I wouldn't say that's a common fault.
No.
I don't think you're the first person to have it, but I'm not going to say it wasn't you before. Hey, you wanted a quick, fun, interesting, let's not show everything game? We're opening up on bar stage.
We are opening up on bar stage. And of course, you know, it's just seeding at this point. Especially for the major. Just quickly checking how the overall standings are currently, just to see if this will confirm or deny. No, all the European League final spots have been given out as well. So,
does it change seeding? I think is the conversation on desk.
No. Well, yeah, it does for the major.
But you can't say no and then say yeah.
I was talking about the European League finals. Okay. It doesn't change anything for European League finals because both these teams won't make it. But yeah, for the major, it's seeding.
Okay.
Whether they get third or fourth place, of course, not quite sure yet how groups will be made in the end either way. You need to beat everybody, as they said, so maybe saving the map is worth more at this point, you know, the good old G2 strategy.
Well, I don't think anything taken out of the G2 strategy book this split is probably for the better here, but this is between two teams that have had pretty good splits. It's been Vitality consistently knocking on the door of success. And to be honest, try that again. To be honest, it being taken out of their hands here, I think is going to open them up for a lot more fun play because it's a lot of stress, and that stress is something that as a team has weighed on them before. It wasn't the first time they were looking at the final Playday and an opportunity to go to a major. This time, they get the success story behind it, and I know we're probably not going to see them playing too much of their in-pocket sort of big plays here, but we might still see them playing a relaxed, confident game of Siege, which is when they're at their most dangerous.
Kids trying to be entering. Realizes there is a lot of open space, a lot of long angles to be watched as well, and as Rips is opening himself up into an angle towards the actual kitchen hallway. Well aware of the fact that those long angles need to be taken care of. P4, the very first kill from the gym hatch. It's going to start it off strong with Bibu being under fire himself as well.
Prana goes down next. Bibu picks up one of his own as they try and find their way to split the top of the hole. They want to clear themselves the pocket of space on the stage, but Vitality is just clearing themselves body after body. Sure, Rogue are able to get a couple of early openings in terms of the walls, but the actual physicality of the fights is not going to their favor. The hop out the window and the swing around the corner goes away from them, but Bibu has the pickup, leaving just Rips buried underneath, creeping through the bar. The Echo drone gives the game away that they know where he is, and the swing locks in a Vitality opening round.
Have it. First round coming in for Vitality. They needed to win this game if it wasn't for Heroic locking everybody off, but let's see if they can still do it. Bar stage 1, gym bedroom up next. Secondary site to go through. Of course, everybody back inside of Stade de France. They have the French LAN finals to come in as well.
Ew.
Preparing for a lot of siege in these next 4 days, starting today.
That's always worth mentioning as well with Vitality. Obviously, they do have the French LAN finals. They have a big tournament. It was, played into with the rescheduling, and it was one of those big stresses. It was an extra stress on a day that for them started off already stressful, and I guess they're thankful for their country compatriots, Heroic, who are able to obviously solidify all the positions across the board in the top 4 today. Here, Rogue, they haven't got off to the best start. They were quite quick in terms of getting the openings, but from then on getting the hand on the Vitality players and the engagements didn't quite go their way. Now, as they find themselves onto more familiar ground, they might be able to find themselves into the more familiar game of actually shooting people in the face, which is something that, to be fair, this third split, they've been pretty good at it.
Yeah, for sure. Rogue has been having its yearly stage 2 issue, you would say. Vitality, they've just fallen short time and time again of making a major, and now finally they've managed to make it. Not on, they didn't need to lock it in themselves, as you just said. That means there's no more pressure really on them now. They can play freely. There is just nothing really holding them back. There's nothing that relies on the outcome of this game. They can literally do whatever they want at this case. They could start playing somewhat more loose. Everybody picks some comfort operators, or they could still try and get these 3 points for the extra seeding. It's all out in the open. It's only up to what Vitality want, because they have a lot of siege ahead of themselves right now, so they could also use this as a bit of practice. There's just so many ways to think about it.
Very good and opportunistic play there with the Twitch drone, able to take care of all of the ADSs around the top of red, so that shield becomes much more prone to being blown up. It makes that press position much tougher to hold on to. Lasers proves that, takes the fight and locks off the opening engagement here. Cryan has a bit of a split, and it leaves Rise in a very tricky situation. Rips is going to send a Flores drone in to open a little bit more ground and land as they want to try and hop themselves over. Rise is going to step into the location, but it's not quite safe enough. Even though he's quite injured, he's going to try and buy himself some time, but it's P4 with a bit of support on the opposite split that gets one for himself.
But just smoke canisters being tossed out now. Leon misses the first opportunity, gets taken care of by P4. He's very low on HP, tries to fall back, has to be careful that his window is not being challenged, but you see it. Vitality working together as a unit. When one goes through, all others will follow. And now four players back on the site, and grenades still being used by Rogue. They're not sure if CCTV and cache are completely clear yet, and surely they will find out about it soon, but that's again a little bit of time wasted. The rest also seems to be coming from the construction side. They haven't opened up at all into Jacuzzi Wall, and that forces Rogue to really go to through two doorways, and that might not be very beneficial.
Oh, with more explosives on the move, you have about a minute to try and start your collapse and the pressure put towards the site. P4's quite injured, but the fact that they've been able to claw themselves back at this body balance and a bit of a head start now in terms of the actual final engagement does build a good boon for a Vitality team that has been so good at those trade scenarios. There's little bits of French revenge. The burn over the top doesn't quite see the body behind the back. They have an idea, but they're tempted to take the hot drop do, but it cannot quite get the connection. Suddenly, though, it's fallen to just Prano left. He's looking for the fight here on logistics. They're looking for the fight on the way back round as well. Spray and put the pressure onto the door. It's the first and the second round the corner. Only 13 seconds. Can't quite get the connection. And Cactus locks it off.
Second round to come in here for Vitality. Played by Dam. Now third side will be coming on. That is going to be probably... Oh, actually, I don't know, because they played Bar Stage first. Yeah, I was going to say CCTV cache question mark, but no. It's going to be Church Arsenal, because they have played that very first different site. That certainly changes everything up. That is going to keep Rogue guessing as of where Vitality may go. There is, of course, going to be plenty of hard breach available. The Thermite, the Hibana, and of course, a soft breach in terms of the Sledge and potentially Flores as well. It's definitely going to be making their lives a little bit easier. Also, no Cade on the board. Those hatches will be easily opened up. However, maybe in the kitchen, impact tricks. Something to keep in mind as P4 getting ready to set up these Valkyrie cameras. We've seen it in our previous game, game 2 of the day, how impactful those black eyes can be. So let's see if P4 manages to sneak some into good positions to guide these nitros up to the ceiling.
So, Vitality, so far you've been able to hold on to these couple of rounds, but Rogue, it's not too far away from them. They've been sniffing quite early. They've been looking for these engagements, and that's when Rogue has been at their most dangerous this split, when they've been a little bit fearless. And today, more than most other days, is that fearlessness, is that ability to try and throw themselves into the engagements here against Vitality. They have a confidence, which is something that they've lacked previously, and it's been able to shine even in moments like this where things aren't quite connecting. It is probably one of the biggest benefits that we've seen this roster go through.
There we go. P4 goes for the run out. He's not going to be able to put too much damage down onto Prano. Makes it safely towards the dirt tunnel. Has not been reinforced and is the soft. Now, they're going to use some RCEs, it seems like, to start opening this up, even though there is a sledge available on the board. So, piece of soft breach utility has been used. Only 3 of these drones left as Rips. He's aggressively pushing through on the dirt tunnel side.
Going by the drones to lead himself that far in that early, he's going to see if he can get a lucky strike here on the body behind the box. See if he can read some intel, potentially against Shinka, who's still doing some hardware working on the corner itself. Cactus plays the impact trick, as you called it, slightly earlier on, with the only 2, now potentially 3 players that have found their way onto the site, potentially about to be shown a modicum of pressure. It's always worth sort of paying attention to where the diffuser is. Prano's playing it not too far away from the kitchen drop hatch there. Still, even though they have the dirt body, not going to throw themselves through just yet.
Still a player out there on the actual rafters, and Rise is playing all the way on the top floor as well, so they have to be very careful if they want to make sure there's no flanks coming through on the side of Vitality. There's only 2 or 3 members actually active on the site, and the rest is all around it as Bibu now drops down into oil. I think Leon might have heard that, at least spots out a player and lets his position be known, and that is also going to be a good piece of information here for Bibu, who now knows he's going to be unable to drop, really.
Rise is the loose bit of danger right now. If they've only got the read that there's a 1 body up top, that's pretty troublesome, but it seems like Leon has a very good idea that there's some trouble still to be had above them. Rise is just buying time, and that's what he's done so far so well, because 2 minutes have passed, and Rogue haven't quite been able to find themselves confident in taking one way or another. They want to push a little bit further here onto red. They want to put a little bit further on towards the plant potential on kitchen, but it's Rips that actually opens it up. P4 and Rise finally finds Leon, which puts more pressure on the second story. A very vital gunfight goes away from them, and now, with 40 seconds, a C4 makes things even tougher. Yet again, the body balance goes against. The drop comes through, and Aces, with the swing and the double, gets himself in. Hot put pressure as Pranos sees if he can put the diffuser down right behind the second box. They have a bit of cover and a bit of support as they're actually going to see if they can stick it with Aces. That's sticking it with the bearing. A quad across the board.
His first kill here, I was already confused how he got that. The second one was right on point. Aces getting that 4K there after Rips opens up the side. That is more like a round like we've, used to from Rogue lately. Let's see if they can keep that up. Vitality back towards bar stage. A side they have played before. This gives Rogue the opportunity to directly try and implement some adaptations. And let's see if they do. Similar setup to the previous round. See the Valkyrie coming out again. The Oryx as well will be locked in. 6 pick from the Maestro to the Echo. So that makes us a little bit closer towards the lineup in round 1.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
2-1. We're back round to the barn, not seeing CC. And to be fair, regardless of the fact that this is a game, it's a game that you've always got to put an asterisk on. 2 teams that are playing in a major very soon. You've always got this impression of they're holding some of their cards to their chest. However, it's also worth mentioning the fact that we have seen a drop in CC's play over the past sort of 2 splits.
All right, it has been seeing a drop, that's for sure. But it also saw a rise right after as well. Because at one point it went down to about 29% win chance. I believe that got up again to about 51, 52% at some point. So it's not as bad as anymore as it was during the start of stage 2, but it's definitely not as good as it used to be. And it's probably due to the fact that these walls, generally, they open up so quickly. Really, not much you can do to try and stop it. Yes, there is a bandit right now on the board. They could try and bandit trick it. Instead, though, they're doing a strip hold. It's been a very long time since I've actively seen one of these. It's normally when you're in the hostage game mode, for example.
Well, with the pressure here coming towards Strip, it's Cactus that opens it up and says, I'm sorry, mate, you barred. Leon is refused entrance, but Ace is still trying to get Rogue inside. The pressure is coming a little bit spread now towards the billiards window, which is going to hopefully, from the side of Rogue, force Vitality to be a little bit more cautious, potentially try and pull themselves back, or most commonly make a mistake, one that they can try and swing into. Here, they have a body on every single potential firefight and route out. The door of Strip is covered, the billiards to the depth, and the only rotation back through is there too. However, if the mistake isn't, if Vitality play themselves cool, then it becomes the mantle of pressure of Rogue to try and swing in, or at least cause enough diversion elsewhere.
30 left on the board. Drones are on the top floor. Rogue now starting to put some pressure down onto the rear stage. Keep in mind, Yokai's still available, still in play. Not quite sure if they have been hidden in these spots we've seen before. Or, yeah, I believe I just saw one on top of the speakers down there as Rips picks up the kill onto Bibu. So that is going to be an extra piece gone inside of the strip club. But a minute left to go, and Cryan picking up yet another kill, starting to look more and more likely that a plant could maybe go down.
That's it. It's been a very good hold on and a lock off now, with P4 still above a pretty default plant spot and Shinka not too far away from the other one. It now becomes the game of Rogue. Where are they going to attempt to try and stick this diffuser down? Where do they feel confident that they can take this vertical fight? Because they'll have an awareness that that is always a danger on these two sites. And Shinka holds his hand. He wasn't quite confident with just the legs and is waiting to see a little bit more, but that'll give the game away that there is still one keeping a keen eye on this approach. 30 seconds, and that decision of where we're going to try and stick the diffuser becomes more and more important.
E4 in a very curious position right here as Brana tries to find a good spot to go for the plant. Needs to come around the corner quickly. He spots him out here, gets the kill as well. That drops the diffuser. 18 seconds left. They have recovered it, but he's about to be coming right onto the rear stage. His Ace is now going for the plant. P4 still in a good position, but there is the opportunity to shoot out the angles. P4 gets another kill. That's the second one as well. Vitality are going to be clutching this. The timer is going to be running out. The verticality of Vitality saved them in this round. The plant is going down. They need to stop it from happening, but successfully will do so. And Vitality, they will win round number 4 with some great trigger discipline.
Don't get me wrong. I have had,
They shouldn't have won that.
But that's the thing. There's things that you miss about being in a studio and probably hearing the others through the green room walls shouting, "What are you doing?" is something that would have been happening right there. Because, oh, come on. A 4 versus 2, you generally know that they've got the vertical pressure. And then they sort of went one at a time for the attempts to mad dash and stick the diffuser down. It was always sort of you go and you go. The pings were coming through. There was intel on the board. And the fact that it was so clean on that first take is, okay, I'm being yellow pinged. Where can we sort of go with this? What can we build from this? It's just, there's a lot of moments there, and you want to sort of have the answers, but the only answers that come is in the comms, which obviously we're unfortunately not privy to. It should have been their round, though.
It should have been their round. It was a 4v2. The new one was upstairs. They went for the plant. The verticalities came back to them. I think the Yokais down there actually came in quite clutch together with maybe even a Black Eye as well to give accurate calls on where exactly the players were. You didn't see the yellow pings coming through, right? There was no yellow pings, but it was definitely calls like, hey, he is behind the bar, for example.
I
Because
saw
that
yellow
allows you.
pings.
Oh, okay, maybe I just missed that one instead.
Yeah, that was there
Okay,
was a
many
lot of
yellow pings. Never mind.
Yeah.
I thought the first one
They
was not
had
yellow
camps.
ping.
No, they had
That's
intel
it, yeah.
on both. But that was the thing. And the intel on the first one was so precise. Goodbye P4. We'll get to that in a second. But the intel on the first one was so precise that it could only have come from intel because it was not. It was a direct opening above. It wasn't just a lucky spray on a default plant spot.
Grenades are being picked as well, but Cactus, of course, being on the one part of indestructible flooring, is going to be able to continue placing that Mew Gemmer. Wall has been opened up in Jacuzzi, though, and two members of Vitality are deciding to go on a bit of a stroll. It's Ryzen S Smoke playing the FMG, not the shotgun, and then being joined by Bibu, who sticks around just slightly inside the construction, knowing that maybe there's going to be a bit of pressure coming down from either logistics or the construction wall. It's going to be a serial laser that at least stops them from dropping the hatch quickly, as another grenade is being tossed in from below, but will neither catch Shinka or the shield.
Now, as they see if they can build on the early blood that they took, which is again something we need to comment on, was Rogue's pace there to make sure that they could punish the freewheeling attitude of Vitality. They've been good at setting themselves up at these cross angles, and as I said, Rogue have been fighting on a lot of these rounds. The 3-round result isn't as one-sided as some of the one-sided games we've seen today, but here, being able to actually put the pedal, being able to put that early pressure onto Vitality and making them sweat a little is going to be something that definitely aids them as they restructure and try and reform themselves. They have Leon obviously close on the stairs, blinded, and he's going to pull himself just a little bit further back to make sure he doesn't suffer, but luckily the whole room was seemingly blinded with that, and he's able to pop back and get himself picked up.
Adrenaline surge. Just healing some players back up. Ace is taking a small amount of damage as smoke canisters are being tossed out just to stop them from going through. As Rips misses an opportunity there and taking out Bibu with Shinka. That brings it back to a 4-on-4 situation. Drones still active. Still a worry about potentially a peek to come through from CCTV, whereas Bibu is long gone, of course, playing inside of the construction, looking towards the hatch on Logi. As Rogue is looking to take control, jumping inside of the construction speed, but has an opportunity to try and take the fight. He's going to play Ring Around a Rosie with him, as in the meantime, the diffuser has been dropped on the site.
And now, as Shinka's got himself a double and the diffuser's dropped, as you said, he's still quite low health, so he can't get too shaky with engagements through a lot of softs. You're looking at a lot of sprays, but you're also looking at only 10 seconds now, as they're going to see if they can drive themselves in. Saw a sliver of a gun and locked off Cactus because of it. Shinka, he's playing a bit of a crook here on the corner on the side, hoping to catch them on the angle. He's going to push himself up, give the game away, pre-fires the shield, can't get the connection! Oh. And that is a very clever plant spot there. The positioning won them that round.
Position on that plant definitely won them the round. They knew where the threats could be coming from, decided to pick on right behind that shield, and if the cover wasn't in place, maybe, he was going to be able to pick up the kill right before the diffuser went down, but it is Rogue that wins their second round. Good positioning. And Vitality, unfortunately for them, weren't able to lock it out in the end there. And now, rerunning it into Gym Bedroom. It's going to be the run-it-back strat. Let's see if it works this time around. We'll find out. We'll find out.
I mean, do you ever want it to be the run-it-back strat?
I mean, I have special negative memories about it.
I mean, the words are infamous.
Yeah, they are. That's exactly the reason why I use them as well. It doesn't always work.
Famously.
Famously.
3-2. Could have been 3-2 the other way, but to be fair, let's Siege, it's a back and forth, and I think if I'm going to talk about how the information game and how it was played between the two teams on the bar was poor from Rogue, the response there and the positioning on the plant was what won them that round. It was being behind the shield, locking off the pre-spray. They had an idea on where the player was going to be, and they made sure that they had the cover. Obviously, if one thread had been wrong, if they had been in construction, it would have been a very easy lockout based on the positioning of the remaining flank watch as well. It was better from Rogue, and that's the thing. They're a team that's so consistently fighting on that edge of just locking things off with that consistency, and if they can get themselves an even half, it does bode a little bit well for the second split. But at the same time, Vitality, they're a team that's more than able to play into that game and play against it too. And we've seen them react and respond very quickly to the pace that's been applied on them.
Opening out onto the construction wall as well. Shinka's trying to lock himself in with a bit of a frost mat, hoping to catch one off guard. But of course, that could have been heard by a player near. This construction now does get open up. Shinka, he's still close to that. Can see anybody moving in if they do. Just look at that. Raptors already in the control as well. These two players inside cash. They need to hold on with their dear lives. They need to make sure that they waste as much time as possible and potentially grab a kill or two as well in the process to really stop Rogue from moving on here. Oh,
now as the pressure comes through to Bibu, a fantastic take. We saw them lead in with the destruction of the ADSs last time round via a Twitch drone. This time, they drove it much closer to home, burn it through, use the Flores drones, and then follow it up with a perfectly cooked, played and placed grenade. Lessons learned, tight communication and destruction leads them now to also putting pressure on Rise, who was in cash longer than he should have been last time round on this take, and that was when the body balance turned away from them. Here, they've been much sharper, Rogue, in getting that control, putting the pressure back through, and now they can put themselves in a much better position on the final approach.
Definitely so. It's a 3-on-5. It's a big minute advantage here for Rogue as Ryan spots out that frost mat, but lets his position be known. Vitality, they know they're coming from the construction side, but have to be careful from the windows as Rips picks up a kill from there. It's Rise to drop as well. It's only up to Shinka now in a 1v4 situation. 50 seconds left. The plant yet again going through, but it's Rips from the window that gets that final kill, and it's Rogue that lock it off with a 3-3 split.
2 in a row and a very good round for it to end there for Rogue. Again, it was just sharp. It was lessons learned. It was all of those sort of misconnections you saw them close to on the rounds that they couldn't quite make happen, barring one, coming together. And it's something where, you know, Vitality have been able to do the same. They've been the ones, however, on the mantle of pressure. They've been the ones that are sort of not really setting the pace. So now we get to see their skill. They're doing exactly the same thing, which is garnering control, which is those lock-offs, that coordination and that cleanliness in terms of just sort of picking apart the players that are opposing you. Opening on Church and Arsenal, the Oryx not quite locked in yet, but is at the end, gives the potential of some troublemaking to happen around the top floors.
Let's see how Rogue will play this. I still remember a Stage 2 game where they were on the attack. I'm not quite sure what it was. It wasn't Clubhouse. Not quite sure against who it was. They just, you know, they didn't drone properly, so to say. They just ran in, killed cameras, got shot in the back whilst they went on, and
oh yeah, I remember
yeah, you remember that game? Just look at the improvement we've seen so far from Rogue over that one stage. It is insane. And now on the defense they go. They have the opportunity to lock off that third place in Europe for this stage. With that, of course, get the third seed of the European major spot that is going to be given away. So I'm quite excited to see how Rogue will do yet again on an international tournament. Of course, first they need to finish this game. Same for Vitality, who are finally going to a major as well. What was it? The Paris major? Last time Vitality as an organization has been there?
I believe so. Yes.
That's the last international.
I say with like a half-hearted confidence of somebody who looks at Liquipedia a lot, but not enough to remember everything. Leon instantly suffers the pressure, and there's a body not too far away above. And he is a man with Vitality clutching around. And again, this is the difference I sort of said, is we'll get a better taste of Vitality in terms of controlling the pace on their attack, because that is when it is a lot more obvious. And here, being droned up, making sure they're putting the pressure directly onto the players on the top floor, something that, when they were roaming up here, they did not do. There goes the first. Aces off the board, leaving just Leon now alone, and it is so quick. Within the opening minute to be in, boots on the ground, and making sure you're applying the pressure, P4, for the second, that is a fantastic demonstration of Vitality on how to clear the top.
And the top cleared very quickly. Faster as well. Rip certainly takes a lot of damage right here. Look at the angle that Rise was using there. Just a lot of damage down onto Rips. He has to fall back now. He's forced to fall back as P4 is preparing the blue side of things. Wants to enter there, wants to open up, wants to get yet another kill. It's Crying that is challenging him, but he needs to be very careful because a drop from Oil Pick could be coming in as well. There's just so much control right now for Vitality and so much time to work with for them to start falling towards the sides. And you know, as Rips is this slow, they are surely aware with all the blood that's on the wall. The grenades are being tossed in right here, and the verticals are being created to force it to fall back finally.
Well, with a minute left and Rip's quite injured but still hanging in there, it's now down to see if the Vitality can actually execute their way. They're a team that's quite happy to do like late executes. Even back in the day, they're obviously famous for it, but now it's sort of continued on as a little bit of a point of play. 30, 20 seconds will sort of show up on the top center of screen, and still they'll be like, okay, are we ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. And suddenly everybody has been locked off left, right, and center here. Busy work starts to come through as they still have a bit of prep and a bit of consideration. Rips is the line that's keeping a keen eye towards Dirt, but that gets cut off by the hatch above. They know where the drop is potentially going to come from next, and Prano is going to pop another canister to keep them at bay. 20 seconds. And P4 can't quite descend down the stairs the way he wants. Look at the repositioning of the diffuser, though. Drop down into Moto, and Rise drops Rogue on the swing round. Prano close, gets one, can't get the second. Vitality with the trade, get their first attack.
First attack on the board. Let's see if they can continue it. 3-3 split we had before. Now Vitality get there first. Are those Rainbow Six towels that Bibu has? I'm not sure if I saw that correct. I'm sorry, I got distracted. It seemed like he had a Rainbow Six towel.
Are you wanting a Rainbow Six branded towel? Or is this you
This was just me just
throwing it into the air?
Throwing it in the air. Like look at Cactus's scam. You can see it from there if he moves his head backwards. See, that was what he was just holding. It looked like a Rainbow Six towel. Maybe we get to see it at the end of next round again. Either way. Yes. See, I'm sorry, I'm easily distracted sometimes, you know. I see something cool, I'm like, oh.
Your color. You're always analyzing
small things,
always
you know?
seeing the small details.
I'm even analyzing the towels. They are very important for the performance, you know.
It's the grandest scale of things. The breakdown of play-by-play and color is macro and micro. And yours includes the towels, the home furnishings.
You know, it's it's just what it is. You know, sometimes you gotta pay attention to the surroundings of the players.
Is this something that I have to do? Because now, obviously, I know that if I want to distract Fresh, he just looks at wherever there's a red light base on the camera. So I'm just gonna bring a laser pointer, put them on random cameras.
I don't think it will work for me.
No, but for you, I just need novelty branded Rainbow Six merchandise and memorabilia.
I was just confused. Like, I'd never seen this before. So if it is, I'm like, wow, I didn't know this existed. You know what I mean? That's basically the surprise I had. Surprise Pikachu face, you know?
Yeah.
By the way, opening that we see in the right top there on the wall. It's often used to stop anybody from jumping back. It's being portrayed now by our beautiful observer to stop people from jumping back through the window. Now, Crying is playing on the rafters. There's currently no rotation. So that means that if he wants to fall back towards the side, he needs to jump through that window. By opening that up, the angle that is currently being detonated by the Excaros, he's going to be making sure that he can actually pick him up if he does. Rips dust, tosses out a cam. This is going to be to get some information out to see if the angle is actually being watched. And as Cactus is trying to watch the angles, Rips tries to find one back.
Oh, they are desperately looking, but Cactus has an idea that's been opened and the cam knows that he's watching. That's the big play right now, because they don't quite have the angle, but they do have the opener, and that's going to put them in a bit of a trickier situation. The grenade, I assume, popped from underneath. Was able to take care of one. Rips is going to pull away. A minute 30 left on the board, and with the CC wall being popped open, he knows he has to try and offer a little bit of support. Aces, he does a bit of a mad dash, but doesn't quite get locked off by Shinka playing Overwatch.
Tries to run away, survives just barely. Aces. Now next step for Vitality will be to take care of the Raptors, and P4 will do exactly that. He needs a bit of help though, because they need to get rid of the ADSs. They need to be wasted, and that's exactly what Cactus will be doing, but he believes he gets taken out by Rips. I'm not quite sure from where. It's a vertical all the way through from the side of Cash, but the grenade still managed to catch him. The diffuser does get dropped, however. 55 seconds left on the clock, and there's not much more Rips can do from this angle at this very moment. Currently taking control of the Raptors here, and suddenly it looks like a good opportunity for Vitality here to try and get the plan down.
That is a wonderfully spicy angle, and they've sort of been able to drive their way past it as they push themselves towards trying to find the diffuser down on the default, just tucked behind that CCTV stack in the middle of the room. But with canisters and more still left to burn, and a C4 in the pockets of both Aces and Rips, and that's all that's left now, as they're going to see if they can lock it off. They're going to have to see if they can apply some pressure. The first pop's no avail, and they just pop their way through and find the double Vitality. Thread their 2 attack rounds together.
They didn't even attempt to go for the plan there, ME. They just decided to run in with every single one of the members they have to ensure they get the kill.
Both of those 3 are going to be there.
Yeah,
Two of those
exactly.
3, Mantis and Damwon Kia, locked in.
Theoretically, I only have 3 European teams if it goes all south. So let's not hope for that. Either way.
No, let's hope for the opposite of that.
Let's hope for the opposite. They can also go in with 5 teams, you know, that would be better. Yeah, let's see if Vitality can get the 3rd one in a row. Rogue deciding to run it back on CCTV Cash. Of course,
It's attack timeout. It's time to talk, and I think doubling down. If there's any time to run it back, it's potentially now, when you've been able to have a bit of a moment and a bit of a conversation about what you think you might be able to thread better here, because so far it's been very clean from Vitality. They've been both able to just sort of drive their way through. The takes, the read of intel, and the read of positioning from Rogue, or against Rogue even, has been very well put together. Like there, where they suffered from that verticality, they know when to strike and when to pull back, and that's that sort of teamwork and camaraderie that they've built from being able to just be in such a consistency, especially of a boot camp as well.
Definitely so. Of course, they didn't start off as strong on boot camp as we know they can.
No.
But they've definitely had the impact. I mean, they've made it to the major this time around. They're still in the boot camp, so the effects are there, you know, as P4 gets the very first kill. I think we said this before as well. That was a construction. I think P4 just jumped in the window, got the kill, jumped back out the window in bedroom. I think it was just a quick drive-by.
I can't believe he just hopped in construction window, took the kill, and then left via bedroom. I mean, you assume at this point, obviously we weren't quite aware.
All right.
There's an awareness though, and there's a pre-placed drone, and that is what this game is, and that's exactly the point I was about to say, is the kill there in construction wouldn't have just been throw himself in and get a kill. It's, I have intel, I think I can take this fight. There it was again on the basement. That would have been a drone that was active underneath. It would have called the angle Crown was holding and then pushed that way. It is such a well put together game. It's something that we've seen demonstrated pretty much every single round by Vitality, is just that hot drone lead in behind the big plays and the big players that they have on their roster.
I'm so glad as well that P4 is really finding his groove in the roster, you know. It might have been a bit of a rough start when they all just came together and they went back to a full French lineup, but he's just definitely one of those big stars now on the roster, really shining, always picking up these entry kills, these beautiful kills even. As the wall now will be opened up, it's Aces to be forced back towards safety, back towards the cache, as the rest of Vitality now, again, will be focusing more onto getting the Raptors under control.
Well, there's a take back against their favor, though. Aces swings wide on the opener. It's an angle and a position he played a bit dangerously and debonair previously, but couldn't quite get the confidence to fight back. Here, when they're in the 5 versus 3 or 3 versus 5 on the wrong side of it, they may as well try and go for these slightly more aggressive swings. And most importantly, they still have player on the rafters. They still have that extension to give themselves a little bit more width, which they'd lost pretty much at this point previously. Leon, he's doing his best to hold in. He hasn't quite been able to get the sharpness into the game right now, but those grenades definitely have. A lock down and a spray around onto one more puts a bit of a pressure in a guessing game, but with 20 seconds, they're going to see if they can consistently lock in one more. That almost gets Prano, but a bit of a bounce down, doesn't quite get the connection that it wants here. That surely does. Bibu with the swing round. The spray doesn't quite connect on the first, and Vitality put themselves on map point.
There we go, map point. They have 3 opportunities now to clear out this win. To secure that they end their season on a high. I mean, it cannot get much higher than this, right? They're already confirmed for the major, but they can, you know, set themselves up for 3rd place now if they take the win here from Rogue. And after a stage where they basically just fell short on the very final game of making it to the major, I am more than sure that they are super happy with their current performances. Even if they would lose this game still, I don't think they really mind that much, because it is more important that they actually managed to qualify this time around. It's been so long. They've been close so many times. And they played against Secret in that last stage. Like stage 2, that was. Secret was in the 8th place at that very moment. Vitality was on boot camp, really going strong. And people were like, they're 3 points ahead, they're 6 points ahead of them. Surely they got this in the bag. But then the boot camp ended and they lost 7-4. And they missed out on the major just on the back of that one game. And now stage 3. They've been on the boot camp for the last 4 or 5. I don't even know. It seems like they're just always there nowadays.
I mean, I wouldn't complain.
I wouldn't complain either. I'd love to see them.
I think that's the main thing. You've got to give, obviously, a shout out to the organization who's putting them up so consistently in a place where they can boot camp. Even though it's a growing team, it's a working project. It's a project that, you know, for a lot of people had a lot of question marks when they made major changes at the beginning of the season. They said, well, we're going to build on it. We're going to work towards this new roster. It started shaky, but it's been an upward trajectory. It's been an upward fight over these 3 splits. And to cap it off with a performance now at a major on the grandest stage, I think that's a sort of sit back in the big Vitality B-branded chairs and kick your feet up if you're the org and say, well, we've done a good job here. Though that opener, this round, let's not count this one so far.
I was going to say, this one isn't really going their way so far. The 2 entries this time fall into the hands of Rogue, and while they're much needed if they want to bring this match back around. 3-5 is currently what we're facing. Leon seeming to go a bit more aggressive. They are well aware that the visual is inside of Secret now, and Cactus wanted to swing, but decides against it in the end. Still not quite sure though. He knows one is out there. He knows that they need to bring back the numbers towards their advantage, but he's not going to be able to find it now. So Vitality have a long round ahead, 2 minutes and a 2-man disadvantage to try and bring back to close it out on their first attempt. If they don't succeed now, there's still 2 more opportunities, however.
2 more opportunities, 2 more chances, and, well, still, it's tough. It's the pressure now for a pressureless game becomes when you're on the, I guess, the precipice of being able to just tip it over into an full fat win, into a full fat 3 points. Sure, you're always sort of playing siege, you're always putting your competition side forward, but here, this is where we've seen a lot of teams actually start to unfortunately find a bit of pressure from a play that was otherwise so threaded and free, and the way that you play on scrims brought into the game day, which is one of those tough challenges for any team of any history and caliber here. They're trying their approach now down onto the main stairs. Shinka gets the impression somebody's going to swing them as soon as they get a bit close, so keep a width, open up the angle, destroy a drone at this case, but maybe it was the drone of a dead friend.
It could have been for sure. Bulletproof is going to be taken care of, however, so they don't need to worry about that anymore, but they already have all the information they need in the side of Rogue, plus that 2 extra men in manpower. All 5 are on the side. Vitality, they need to choose their battles wisely. That's the first one. Cactus opens it up, and now Bibu starts moving down from Oil Pit towards the boiler room, hoping to pick up yet another one. And suddenly it will be a 3-on-3 again, but there's 20 seconds left. They need to move quickly, and Bibu does exactly that. He starts moving around. He checks the corner. It's a kill to come in from both members on the side of Rogue, though it's only up to Bibu now. He gets taken care of. Rogue, they're going to be able to put one back onto the board. That means only 2 more opportunities now for Vitality to lock it off.
It was a very collected defense there. It was something that we've wanted to see a little bit from Rogue. And I guess it was my point on the turn of the half was you can sort of, it's easier to comment on the attacking team because it's easier to sort of see where things start to fall off. They are the team that's supposed to be theoretically setting the pace and answering the questions put forward by the defenders. And here, we haven't really seen the defenders have too many answers to the questions, but the early 2 strikes, the takes against the Vitality players and being able to make sure they can't quite get themselves rolling and get themselves set up, if they can lean more into this, if they can lean more into destabilizing the confidence and that early 30 seconds, that first minute of Vitality, which is so strong, it could have those echoes, those repercussions throughout the rest of the round.
All right, Rogue going up towards gym and bedroom. 2 more rounds they need to win if they want to bring it back towards an overtime situation. That is exactly what they need if they want to lock off this stage in 3rd place. Now, Mira being brought out. Leon on that Mira is something we have seen many times before in this exact same situation. Remember the kills that he managed to pick up in Jacuzzi? A triple, a quad, maybe even in that same round in the end. Winning it out for them. It's always a scary feat. You know that is what you're up against, especially when these plays, they're so easily to be remembered because they were so flashy.
Now, as they open up a bit of an extension here in this position and play was something where we actually saw the Mirror do such big work of Leon before, as sort of stated, and it's something where you kind of expect that confidence, the swing and the flashy plays to come back in a game like this where they're fighting 2 rounds. They've got to put the pressure up. They've got to sort of step in. But at the same time, as you said, it's a game for seeding. It's a game that has a weight, but the weight at the start of the day was lifted from their shoulders by early results. And that was the lock-in for the major itself.
That was the lock-in indeed. Right now, both just want to show what they got without showing too much, if that makes sense. Working, of course, with the fact that every analyst in the world that is going to the majors currently watching this game, trying to get some extra information out on these 2 teams as flashbangs and grenades are being tossed in, but not enough damage done to Leon gets to actually try and take him out. Still lives for now. Nitro, however, has been tossed through. The armor bag does get destroyed just in case that any of the attackers do get hands on it. Don't want to give them those extra bunch of hit points. As Leon digs himself in deep right behind, right next to the window on Jim. He as well knows that his position will be under fire soon.
They're trying to keep Vitality guessing. They're trying to keep them at arm's bay just for now. As I said, that early drive in from Vitality has been very well put together, and the spray almost connects, but it's Cryan that actually goes off first. Bieber on the far side, and suddenly it's exploding inside the site as well. Prano goes down next, locked off by Cactus, and they've lost all of their outside players. The hop out the window doesn't quite connect with Rise, who had dropped off after that early grenade and battle pressure. That gives Leon a bit of an idea that he can dig himself closer and deeper once again, without them having to, I guess, have a bit more of a fear on another grenade following up. But 2 early deaths and a bit of a clear here could cause a problem.
Ice is just going off the angle at the moment that he runs through. Otherwise, Bieber could have been picked up here and now. He's the man that starts ascending the main stairs, has the opportunity to sneak himself and ride on the back of the defenses that are still left standing on the side of Rogue. Rips right next to the window, has the opportunity to jump out. Rice seems to be well aware as he's holding it exactly there as Rips runs past, gets shot. It's being chased as well. In the meantime, as Bibu is entered the side, he's in the middle of it. Needs to fight Leon, gets he gets a double kill. Suddenly it all turns around. It's a 2-on-2 situation, but Rice picks up a very important double kill. Ace is inside of logistics, has the opportunity to turn it all around. Knows one is in there, picks him quite low, but he's taking him a lot more damage himself as well. And as P4 goes for the plant, it's Rice to finally finish it off. The pistol kill comes through, and it's Vitality that lock out the game.
They lock it off, they get themselves a win to end the season. And as we said, their arrival at a major was already decreed today, but this is a bit of a statement, a bit of a game to shake those cobwebs off and leave yourself on a final drive towards the end. Well, it'll be good luck to both of these teams who wrap up